So now to Samson. I mean, Grobest is a Pan-Asian, feed production company. So I thought maybe you could take us through, kind of your overview of what you see happening in the major production countries in 2021.
Sure, Tom. Thanks. I think we got to look at the supply and demand side. In Asia, most of the country are actually producing country, except China, probably with a net demand country and importing. So when we first experienced the COVID beginning of the year, especially Q1, China was the one actually who started. And then Q2, as we all know, I think in the other biggest demand country like US and EU locking down. So I think the first half was pretty much hampering the demand side. And then, of course, coupled with the logistic disruption, we know that, even the exporting country of badly want to export, exporting was a challenge, even with the container and the sugar. So having said that, I think I would kind of agree that as a whole, 2020, shrimp as a preferred aquaculture protein we see the very, very strong demand overall in general. I think especially in US as well in Europe, the retail channel, as we know, that has been picking up very, very nicely, especially in the second half when all the food services were kind of locked down or closed. At the end of the day, I think people still got to eat and they still prefer to eat. And if you Google on the recipe, there are a lot of recipes flying around. So people are trying to do a lot of home cooking. And if you look at also the fridge sales in last year, especially second half, there are many more households fridge capacity increase and sales going on. So we can imagine a lot of seafood and shrimp included has been picking up quite nicely in the second half of the year. With that, I think the producing country in Asia, for example, Vietnam has been a very nice portfolio with what they are producing and exporting country. They're very, very, very much balanced, not only to US or Europe, but also to high value-added consumer like Japan, Korea, and some to China as well. So they are exporting quite well at the end of the day, despite the fact, but we also see a slight reduction in Vietnam in terms of shrimp production. We are seeing somewhere around 5 to 10% reduction of the shrimp production. Thailand, very similar to Vietnam, also a nice portfolio and more on high value-added shrimp, but we see about the 10% reduction in general. Indonesia, actually, we're seeing that actually last year because of their network and sales channel to US, particularly to the retailers. I think perhaps they're the only one country as winning exporting country in Asia in 2020. We actually tend to believe that they are almost flat or even have a slight growth in Indonesia with their channeling to retailer in US. China is it's always difficult to read the number. The numbers that input number as just showed is decreased. But the demand of shrimps inside China, the Chinese love seafood, particularly shrimp. The second half drop from the world for the frozen shrimp and due to the COVID packaging psychology impact has actually boosted domestic live shrimp demand and price, as you show. So we believe China as a major shrimp eating country and importing country, we still believe that they will have strong growth over the years. So all in all, I think the one who can have a good retailer channel, good exporting channel, somehow due to the COVID lockdown, I think some of the Asian countries also developed their domestic market to a certain extent. India is the last one that it dropped a lot in 2020. We were thinking about roughly also 20% due to COVID and also a lot of logistic disruption. But I think they will rebound very, very strongly with a lot of abundance land and also low cost of production and Don't forget that also the exchange rate of Indian rupee has helped them a lot. There's been seeing very weak Indian rupee for some years, and it has not seems to be getting stronger. And still, I think that will help the Indian farmers a lot for export.
Thanks, Samson. Actually, it's good. It's interesting you came on to India there, because I was going to ask you next about India. I mean, your data shows that India passing. Obviously this is a forecast and a projection, but it shows India passing 1 million metric tons in 2025. So what makes you so bullish on India? I mean, do you think is that going to happen from merely kind of expansion of into the farming areas, or do you think that stuff needs to be done in terms of the efficiency and the processes of the farming as well?
Yeah, I think perhaps a little bit of everything, right? And as we are talking now, and maybe we have to revise the number, because the Indian government has just announced even more bullish and aggressive numbers, and they want to get to 1.4 million tons by 2024. So hopefully they have the right plans in place and putting a lot more infrastructure. And I do believe that I think that the land and also relatively less diseases challenge compared to other countries. They do have disease challenge, but relatively less again. And I think there's still extensive farming are still dominating in India. They will get a little bit more. In general, when I'm a bit have a different view from Robin. I think there will be diseases challenge. There will always be diseases challenge, and whether India or the other countries, when you go into more intensification, when you're more density within the same confined area, the motherland is going to revenge to a certain extent. So there will be new diseases, but however, there will also be new technology helping to manage these diseases and helping the production efficiency. So I think that these are all with India, and again the currency. One of the main, we seldom talk about that, but I think the currency is really helping India big times. If you look at the same time period with exporting country and currency, India has a lot of advantage at that as well. Besides all this farming capability and practices. Thanks,
Samson. I wanted to ask you: there's another country has been very bullish recently in terms of the outlook for their shrimp industry, and that's Indonesia. Talking very optimistically about million metric ton targets for the industry, which they seem to do every few years. But however, it sounds like there's it's quite serious, and that there's actually there's a strong political will to get behind it and industry cooperation. So can you tell us a bit more about what that's going on in Indonesia with that drive, please?
Yeah, I think same as India, the Indonesians even earlier to put on their ambitions planned to grow the shrimp farming industry by 2.5x by 2024, 2025. And that has to come a lot of a new farming area also now moving further from the East Java, even further east from East Java, and Sulawesi. So we believe that the farming technology and experience in Indonesia, the farmer has been farming for a long time, and already in a very, very intensive or even super intensive farming model already. And as I just said, in 2020, we probably see that they didn't drop. They actually perhaps may have increased the production. So all this set up a very, very good foundation for them to grow further.
On pricing, Samson, I'd just like to ask you about this situation where we're currently seeing in China with the the prices up very, very high year on year. Although if you look back at previous years, it's kind of maybe more in line what we saw in previous years, with China at this time of year. But anyway, certainly compared to last year, it's rocketing. Can you just tell us a bit more about what's going on there, please?
I think the recent rocket high price is a bit abnormal in a way, and that's mostly, I think you should mention perhaps the $12, $13, even 2 days ago's price still went up a bit, despite the Chinese New Year is almost finished. Normally before the Chinese New Year, as you can imagine, the price went up in expecting the consumption during the Chinese New Year, but just 2 days ago, price went up again instead of reducing, which normally in a normal year, we will see the price will be reducing after the Chinese New Year, as everybody has been eating too much, and the demand of shrimps will go down. But the recent up price was, I think, is coupled with the demand, coupled with the import in the second half that you see in 2020 that has been gone down a lot, and mostly because of, I think, the consumer confidence of the packaged seafood in general, shrimp included, that has really hampered the demand of the Chinese consumer. So it's a day and night between the fresh shrimp price, which are domestically produced, and the imported frozen shrimp price is almost more than double. So I think, unfortunately, we have not seen, or I have not heard, the consumer confidence in China has turned back to the packaged food yet. Before that's come back, I think the domestic fresh seafood and shrimps price will still remain at higher level compared to the imported one. Still hearing also a lot of seafood seller have still having a lot of their stock frozen seafood imported has not been offloaded from their warehouse yet. So I think in order to see if the imported price improve in general, I think the consumer confidence need to be back. And generally in the past, learning from the other industry like, you know, African swine fever or bird flu, it takes quite some long times to gain back the consumer confidence.
Yeah, on the topic of consolidation, I just wanted to ask you, Samson, about that. I mean, how do you see the you know, the kind of the sort of, I suppose, post-pandemic, the sort of recovery? Well, not post, we're still in it, but there is a sense of, you know, the world is moving into recovery mode. Do you see that that's going to, you know, that dynamic's going to drive consolidation in the shrimp farming and processing and feed sectors in Asia in the future?
Well, Grobest is not an integrator either, and I kind of agree with Robin that I think farming is when we're dealing with live animal is always not easy, and a lot of uncertainty, and especially aquaculture, more so in aquaculture than animal husbandry on the land. There are a lot more complexity in the water and for the environment to be controlled. So farming is always relatively risky compared to you know, processing or feed milling. And I would tend to see that I think the farmers may be getting bigger, but whether it is more advantageous to getting consolidated the whole value chain, I'm not sure. But definitely there could be collaborations between among the value chain, you know, processor, feed millers, and maybe even big farmers are collaborating with each other.
Yeah, back to you, Samson, on the consolidation front. Well, I just wanted to kind of get a bit of a sense from you about what you know, briefly what Grobest is looking at doing this year. I mean, are you on the hunt for acquisitions, and if so, in which countries? And then, you know, if not, if you're looking at organic expansion in different countries, can you maybe give us a sense of what you're looking at doing there?
We're actually doing both organic and also on the M&A agenda. We have not been, we have never stopped looking at opportunities to grow inorganically in the major shrimp farming countries. You know, Grobest is basically an aqua feed nutrition company and functional performance feed company. So we help dealing with farmers who have a challenge with the diseases as well. So wherever we see the great opportunities that we have been discussing in the last 1 hour, especially in Asia, the country that we just mentioned, Indonesia, India, China, Vietnam, and even Thailand, we are increasing our capex in our organic growth in terms of capacity. At the same time, we're also actively looking at opportunities that can help us to expand our footprint to help our farmers.
Asking, will Ecuador get to the 1 million metric tons sooner than India? Which I guess it'd be good to get you know, everybody to give an answer to that, and then also, you know, if you don't think it's going to be Ecuador or India, say who it's going to be?
If you're gonna pick one, I think so far Ecuador has proven they have managed a very difficult year very well, from really manufacturing from China to somewhere else. Instead, I think India as a whole is still seeing a lot of setback due to COVID. So if I have it bad, I think Ecuador will probably be the winner.
One final question has come in. We'll leave it there. It's one for Samson. It's coming from Jihua Pai from Cargill in the US. And Jihua wants to know what Samson's view is on shrimp, the shrimp production in China, basically in the coming years. You know, what's the outlook in China in the coming years? And then we'll close it there.
China is always a difficult nut to crack in terms of the volume productions, but we believe that there was somewhere around 800,000 tons productions, and consumption is a lot more. That's why we're still holding a strong belief that China will be a net importer. It's just from home.
Do you think though that that there will be more production stimulated by these high prices, or do you think that would have happened anyway? Given that the prices are,
there will be. I think particularly in the north and the east, with the new farming area, with relatively less disease challenges and more intensifications in those areas. But in the south, it's relatively challenging because of many years of diseases. So success rate over there is really low. In general, I think China will still grow, but with probably a low single-digit % year-on-year.